Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We have some previews and spoilers from Hotshots and Aces II, the next card pack coming for X-Wing. This thing is going to be loaded with pilots of every faction. You are not going to want to miss this. And while this was spoiled at Mini Extravaganza that they were doing it and they give us a little bit, it's now up for pre-order on the Asmodee store. And with most pre-orders, you get a little bit of a kind of a description as well as some images of everything that we're going to see in this expansion. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think you're going to like it. Let's talk about what we are going to see in this pack. We're going to talk all about it today because it's pretty exciting. And if you guys are new here to the channel, we are still giving away a $25 Amazon gift card. So all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. Basically, you can win one of these packs worth of Amazon credit that you can kind of put towards this or whatever else you might want. Maybe you play a different game. So just make sure you're a subscriber and leave a comment. I want to know what your favorite ship in the Star Wars universe is. You know, because there are so many to choose. And it can be like fighters. It can be capital ships. It can be mid-range freighters, modified Corellian freighters, YT-1300s. With the round dish or the rectangular dish, all kinds of cool stuff. Also want to thank today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. They have amazing full metal tokens compatible with X-Wing, Legion, Keyforge, Magic the Gathering, tons of games. Check them out. Head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. Use code CrabbokVIP. That's going to save you 15% off of your order. And if you spend $35 or more and you use that code, you're also going to get a free Crabbok token. It's got the lightsaber nunchucks on there. It's got the red side on the back, the blue side, the light side on the good, the dark side on the back. You're going to love these tokens. They're double-sided. They come in a variety of finishes. They're going to make you want to play your games more. They're wonderful. And they also make for great prize support and also great holiday gifts, birthday gifts. Let your folks know what you want. And don't forget to tell them to use that code. All right, we're going to keep going on with the video. It's pretty cool stuff. We have a look at the back of the box here. Now, the back of the box is pretty interesting because this is just a card pack. You're getting new pilots to be able to do a lot more with the stuff you've already got. This is going to be a perfect buy for anybody. All right, you're getting 38 ship cards, 5 condition cards, 4 punch sheets, and 1 little insert that's going to have probably some rules and errata and things like that on here. Very cool stuff. We're getting pilots for all of the factions. It says enhance your squadron options with and launch new pilots with the Hotshots and Aces II reinforcement pack with new pilots for numerous ships in the Rebel, Imperial, Scum, Resistance, First Order, Republic, and Separatist factions. You can now add iconic characters like Aura Singh, Corran Horn, and Dr. Afra to your squads. So, yes, we're getting Corran Horn in a T-65 X-Wing. As a matter of fact, eagle-eyed viewers that look really closely can see a kind of pixelated Corran Horn at the very top. And you might notice that you can see a Force icon on there. So I think a lot of people are going to be very, very pleased. Of course, you know, Corran Horn has been kind of teased in some recent stuff that has been out there, so I don't want to spoil too much of like Disney Plus. I mean, I think everybody's seen Kenobi already, but there is a little bit of name dropping of Corran Horn in there, so you know, kind of nice Easter eggs to just kind of like it makes you wonder, are they going to really do stuff with it, or they just want it out there to? Is it just like seasoning for all the old school fans? Well, either way, I'll take it. It's very cool. We're also getting Wes Jansen in a T-65. So a lot of these are returning pilots from 1.0 that didn't quite make it over to 2.0 yet. Get Tycho, Psycho Tycho himself. Tycho Selchu is back in an A-Wing. We've got Keo Venzi, and we've got Pops Krail in the BTL A4 Y-Wing. For the Empire, we're getting Flight Leader Ubel, Juno Eclipse, my personal favorite for the well, one of my favorites, but maybe my favorite for the TIE Advanced X1 is back. And I love that Juno Eclipse is back in here because it's like, hey, is it okay to talk about Starkiller again? Is it okay to speculate on with whether or not Starkiller is going to eventually show up in these games, right? I really hope we get another Force Unleashed or another. I want Sam Witwer to come back to Star Wars as Starkiller. He'd make a great character in one of the new series. It just gets me so excited. What about an Inquisitor, right? Starkiller as an Inquisitor, that'd be so awesome. Let me know what you think of that idea. Also, join our Discord. We got a great Discord down in the comment section. There's a link, or in the video description, there'll be a link to our Discord. We talk about X-Wing, Armada, Legion, lots of Star Wars gaming in there. We also have the second sister. We got Magna Tolvan, and Eureka Quell. I remember the Eureka Quell from the Alphabet Squadron books, as a matter of fact. So that's pretty cool. We also have the Resistance. We got Poe Dameron in the Falcon. We got Lando in the Falcon. We got Vanessa Doza in an X-Wing. We've got Zay Versio, Iden Versio's daughter, if you played Battlefront 2. And I know some of these characters are from different, like, whether they're from comic books or books that I'm just missing, but I'm calling out the ones that I instantly recognized. And then we've got Taka Jamorisa. I don't know. And maybe some of these are from Alphabet Squadron that I just missed. Probably not Resistance characters, though. Some of them are from, I think, Resistance, because we're going to see some of that. Like Vanessa Doza. That's actually, yeah, was that Captain Doza's daughter, I think? Or, I don't know. But yeah, so very cool. Hondo Anaka in a Fire Spray. We already saw Hondo in a Fire Spray in Armada. We're also seeing some Armada stuff kind of come over to here too, which is cool. Tor Fun. This was a new character. This was spoiled during Mini Stravaganza that they got to make an all-new character. So in a Fang Fighter. We got Durg, or is it Dirge? Is it Dirge or Durg? But like recently returned to the comic books, recanonized from the Tartakovsky Clone Wars in a rogue class. We've got Dr. Aphra in a YV-666. Okay, so like in a party bus, which is, I think, probably like the closest ship to the Archangel that we would probably get. So it's cool to see her show up there. Hopefully it doesn't mean that we won't get an Archangel in the future. It's just like a nice nod. And if you want to mod, if you want to like 3D print an Archangel and just run it on a YV-666 base, I think that's a cool way to go. This way you can have Dr. Aphra there. And then we have Lapin in a modified TIE Fighter. For the Separatists, we've got Volendas, who we're going to take a look at in just a minute. That one's cool. Aura Singh in a Fire Spray. Durg in a Rogue class for Separatist. The Iron Assembler in a Vulture class droid. And 3, count them, 1, 2, 3, Kelrodo AI holdouts. Although I don't know if it's AI or Kelrodo A, because it's A and then a lowercase I. So I don't know the story behind them. Then for the First Order, we got Lieutenant Gallic, Jewel Gergerad, DT-798, Lynn Gava, and Agent Tierney, which I do recognize Agent Tierney from Star Wars Resistance. And then we've got 2 versions of Adi Gallia, who I had seen. Of course, you will recognize her from the films, from the Clone Wars, also from Star Wars Armada. She's an officer there, and a Delta 7, and also a Delta 7B. Which was interesting. We got Kit Fisto in an Edda 2 Actus. And we've got Sicko in a Lat Eye. That's a cool clone name, Sicko. Slammer in a V19 Torrent. And then Gavin Sykes in a Naboo Royal N1. Okay, so with all that being said, I'm curious if any of those what has you most excited about from all of this stuff? We'll look at a couple of these here. So Agent Tierney has a broken trust condition. We don't know much about that. Adi Gallia, you attack at range 1, you spend a force. If you do, the attacker cannot something the range bonus. Well, you're defending, so somebody won't get an extra die when they're attacking you, it seems like. And so basically, if you're attacking against somebody who's at range 3, then you can spend a force. They can't add the range bonus. So I kind of like that, though that does not help you at range 0. Corran Horn has a weird ability here. So if you've seen this, Corran Horn says after you... I'm going to read it out loud because like this one took me like 5 read-throughs to explain it. After you declare the defender of an attack, if you have a lock on the defender, a friendly ship may transfer their lock token from you to the defender. Now I want you to pause, rewind, like read that again. It's bizarre. After you declare the defender of an attack, if you have a lock on the defender, a friendly ship may transfer their lock token from you to the defender. Basically, this requires a whole bunch of setup, and I think it's like too much setup to really like. I think the idea here is you want Corran Horn in an X-wing because he's Corran Horn in an X-wing and he's got force. I think that's really why you want Corran Horn. I think the ability here is just like, okay, fine, whatever. Let's give him some kind of ability. Ideal turn 1, you have somebody who's maybe a low initiative pilot, maybe somebody who's got a heavy payload with maybe a Y-wing with torpedoes or something like that. Take a target lock on Corran Horn because you can right? Like if you're old school X-Wing 1.0 player, you didn't used to be able to do that. But that's something, in 2.0 you could target lock friendly ships or asteroids or whatever, right? You can do that now. So you have somebody target lock Corran Horn. Then Corran Horn, who is higher initiative, might have a better chance of target locking an enemy ship. So then you're going, as you kind of proceed in the game, Corran Horn target locks an enemy ship, and maybe the Y-Wing already moved forward. I'm just using a Y-Wing with like proton torpedoes in this scenario. Maybe the Y-Wing has already moved forward, didn't get the target lock on that higher initiative ship, but Corran Horn now can. So now all of a sudden, maybe that Y-Wing maybe they focus right now. Corran Horn attacks. Hopefully he's higher initiative than, like maybe it's an initiative 4 ship, right? So Corran Horn goes, and maybe your Y-Wing is like initiative 2, right? So Corran Horn attacks, then your Y-Wing gets to like, oh, Corran, you have a target lock on him? Good. I'm going to take my target lock that I put on you. I'm going to transfer it over to him, and then there you go. That's what happens. So he gets to move a friendly target lock that's on him to an enemy ship if he's attacking them and if he has a target lock on them. So it requires a whole lot of setup. I don't think that's why you take Corran Horn, though. I think you take him because the X-Wing and the Force, and he's Corran Horn. We'll also have to see what his points are at and what his loadout values are. So all of those things are also going to factor in there. But he's a fan favorite. He's got great art, too. It looks like he's flying over a big city like maybe Coruscant or something like that. We got Juno Eclipse. And after you perform an action, you can perform a red boost action. Love it. I love Juno Eclipse. I love being able to initiative 5, tie advanced X1, being able to get into range 1 and proc that advanced targeting computer, make it work. We've got Sicko and a Lat. After you execute a basic maneuver, you can assign the sickening maneuver condition to yourself. We don't know what that is yet, but okay, hopefully it's cool. Kit Fisto comes in with an ETA 2 Actus with 2 force charge, while another friendly ship defends. If the attacker's in its bullseye arc, you can spend a force to change one of the defender's blank results to a eyeball result. So a good support Kit Fisto while still being an ETA 2 Actus, so while still being dangerous. I kinda like it. And then we got a couple more previews we're going to look at, so these are pretty cool. We've got Gavin Sykes in the N1. While you defend or perform an attack, the speed of your revealed maneuver is greater than the speed of the enemy ship's maneuver. You can re-roll your blank results. We've seen a lot of things like that, and that's one of the things you have to do now. When you reveal that maneuver, you kind of need to make sure you don't mess with that dial, because revealed maneuvers are definitely a thing. Hondo is initiative 1 in the fire spray, which is interesting. You can choose 2 non-huge ships. I like that they specify non-huge. I like that because it's just like, hey guys, we haven't forgotten about huge ships. I really hope huge ships are getting some more love soon. Of range 0 to 3 that are not friendly to each other. Each of the ships may perform an action that is on your action bar, even while stressed, in order of your choice, then gain a calculate token. It's kind of similar to the crew version, right? Like, hey, you each get to do something, like a little for me, a little for you, but maybe a little better for me. Tor Fun, we've seen this one already. After you perform an attack, if the defender was destroyed, you may perform an action even while stressed, then gain 2 strain tokens to perform a bonus attack. It's so cool. I mean, I love it. It's very much in that Mandalorian spirit. Tycho, similar to the original Tycho, while you have 2 or fewer stress tokens, you may perform actions even while stressed. You can't get the giant pile of stress tokens that you used to get with Psycho Tycho. So he's just agitated Psycho now. He's not full blown Psycho Tycho. He's just like, heavily stressed out Tycho. He's like maybe anxiety attack Tycho Selchu, maybe something like that. We got a really interesting droid tri-fighter, Volendas. I'm going to come back to Volendas in just a minute. Let's talk about Zay Versio in the T-70. Initiative 3, this is Iden Versio's daughter. I love it. We didn't get to see a whole lot of her in Battlefront 2, but we did get to see some, so it was pretty cool. While you defend, if the attacker is damaged, you may re-roll 1 defense die. So pretty good ability. I like her father's daughter, too. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's go to Volendas. A couple of things are interesting about Volendas. First off, this is a different type of TIE It's not a droid, right? It's an organic TIE fighter. We don't get to see the action bar here, but it's pretty likely to assume that this ship has focus instead of calculate. Because also if you look at the chassis text, it says modified for organics. The ship is not affected by the standardized restriction. Reduce the difficulty of your speed 2 and 3 bank maneuvers. Increase the difficulty of your speed 3 turn maneuvers. So it's going to have a different dial now as well, which is going to be really, really interesting. And then it has the ability, after you fully execute a red maneuver, you may choose an enemy ship at range 1. The chosen ship gains a strain token, and you may remove a stress token. So it kind of gives you an advantage for doing those red maneuvers. But the weird thing to me is that Volendas, out of all of these, is unique because, well, for one, they've changed the ship ability and have gone from it being a droid to an organic, which is very, very cool. But there's something weird to me about this, and so I'm wondering if, like, this one, like, when I first saw this, I thought to myself, hey, did these, were these, like, made under FFG, and then AMG had to change this one? And I think that's definitely what it is. We have, basically, these were, for everything that I've seen and from people who've worked on it have posted that, yes, this was worked on under FFG, but I don't think it went into play testing, so it wasn't that far along in the process. But I believe that this pack was still kind of released under FFG, and I think that kind of makes sense, because I think if AMG had designed this from the ground up, these would have been standard loadouts instead of a Hotshots and Aces II. I think that was the first thing that made me think, well, I'm surprised AMG is doing, ship cards that aren't standard loadouts. But here, like the way that this is in a different, like the background is kind of like slightly different. Like in that, and all of that, it almost looks like the text is all in a different font. Makes me wonder if they had to change it. Like maybe Volendas, designed under FFG, had some kind of dial peak, right, or something like that. And since we've got 2.5, I don't know, and it doesn't matter. It's just things that I think about when I see that, because, like, why does this one look so different than all the other ones? And it's like, if you zoom in on it, it looks like it's a whole different font. It just almost looks like a homebrew card, right, compared to everything else. So I thought it just looked strange, and it kind of stood out to me. So I started looking closer and closer and thinking, why would this one look different? Why would this one look different? And a lot of the stuff that AMG has to change from FFG kind of has like that different font, almost like hey, we've made like if you look at like the rules reference stuff and like how they add an extra page at the end for a lot of stuff, that's usually it's like in a different font, like they're just doing things a little differently. So that's kind of my suspicion. My thought is that this guy was probably originally some kind of dial peaking card or something that did something a little different, and maybe that change is why this is coming out so much later. Maybe this was supposed to have come out like last year, and they had to rework it to make it work with the 2.5 rules. I guess we'll have to see. All right, you guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I will talk to you all soon. I want to thank you. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Please don't mind if you hear my kids screaming in the background, because that's just what happens when you've got kids and you make videos. I'll talk to you later. See ya.